Welcome back. So far we have completed questions on human physiology, the NTA original questions from 2019 till 2022. And today I'm starting on 2023. We have 16 questions to finish. Assertion reason question. Nephrons are of two types, cortical and juxtamedullary. Correct, this is correct. Based on their relative position in cortex and medulla. Precisely, it is the relative position of the loop of Henle. So, but okay, this is okay, accepted. So this is correct. Juxtamedullary nephrons have short loop of Henle. Short is incorrect. Juxtamedullary has long loop. So R is incorrect. False. R is false. A is true. Option 1 is the answer. So this is the image which I have used in earlier explanations also. In this image you can see this box represents renal cortex. This is renal medulla. These are the two types of nephron, cortical and juxtamedullary. So look at the loop of Henle. This remains in the cortex region, whereas the loop of Henle of juxtamedullary nephron goes deep down in the medullary interstitium. And this helps in establishing the concentration gradient. Okay, this in turn helps in absorption of water from collecting tubules and collecting duct. So these are the two types of nephrons seen in kidney. Vital capacity of lung is, here is the answer. So there are total 4 different volumes and 5 different capacities. So every definition will have the type of respiration, either normal or forcible. So while by hearting, you have to keep this point in mind and other keywords, like in this case it is additional volume. The volume of air which we breathe in and out while walking, talking, eating, sleeping, watching movies. This is normal respiration, value is 500 ml. IRV, the keywords are additional volume of air one can. It is inspiratory reserve volume, so it will be about inspire by forcible inspiration, 2500 to 3000 ml. ERV, expiratory reserve volume, additional volume of air one can expire by forcible expiration, 1000 to 1100. Residual volume, so residual will be something which remains, the volume of air that remains in lungs after forcible expiration. Value is 1100 to 1200 ml. So these are the only 4 values which you need to by heart. Okay, for rest of the capacities you will have to simply add up according to the formula. So some of the students, they will add these values also and try to by heart these as well. This is just unnecessary overburden. Don't do that. Your focus should be on the formula and the definition. IC is total volume one can inspire after normal expiration. Similarly, EC will be total volume of air one can expire after normal inspiration. This is the formula. Next one, functional residual capacity, the definition and the keywords, okay? And this is the formula. VC, add up TV, IRV, ERV. Finally, TLC, total volume of air in the lungs at the end of forced inspiration. You add up everything, all the 4 volumes which you have learned in the first slide. P wave is depolarization of atria, A3. A3 is only in option number 3. This is the answer. Next question. This is on contraception. Vasectomy is surgical method. A3. A3 is here. Then B is either 1 or 4. Coitus interruptus is a natural method. B4. So option 4 is the answer. Which one of the following common sexually transmitted disease is completely curable when detected early and treated properly? It will be gonorrhea. So this is the table which I have discussed earlier also. There are total 8 different STDs, out of which these 5 are curable. So please by heart the names, very important, it is frequently asked question. Assertion, Endometrium is necessary for implantation of the blastocyst. Correct. In the absence of fertilization, corpus luteum degenerates and that causes disintegration of the endometrium. This is also correct. But the important thing is these are mutually exclusive events. There is no connection between two. This is talking about pregnancy and this is about when fertilization doesn't happen, opposite of pregnancy. So your answer will be both are correct, but it is not the explanation of A. R is not the explanation of A. Not the explanation. 4. Again AR statement. Amniocentesis for sex determination. Amniocentesis is not for sex determination. You can determine sex. That's an added advantage of this technique. But it is not for sex determination. This is not. So definitely this is wrong. A is wrong. So when you have A wrong, see, both are true, A is true. So you don't even have to read a reason. Directly select the answer. A is false. This is the answer. So there are 4 different statements. Which of the following statements are correct regarding female reproductive cycle? In non-primate mammals, cyclic changes during reproduction are called estrous cycle. Now, in case you don't know this point, just check the options. A is in every option. That means this is a correct statement. So don't get anxious, don't get scared if you come across any unfamiliar term. First menstrual cycle begins at puberty and is called menopause. Menopause is wrong. B is wrong. So B, A, first and fourth options are wrong. Then D is common here. You only need to find out whether C is correct or not. Lack of menstruation may be indicative of pregnancy. Correct. C is correct. So option 2 is the right answer. This is the list which is given in Animal Kingdom of mammals, out of which I have selected the non-primate mammals. So except for monkey, all are non-primate. They show estrous cycle. Now what is the difference between estrous cycle and menstrual cycle? The difference is in estrous cycle there won't be any bleeding because the endometrium will be reabsorbed in the body. Isn't this great? I mean, if this would happen in human beings, every woman will be happy. Cholecystokinin, this is related to this one, pancreas. It will stimulate the secretion of pancreatic enzyme. A4 is in 2 and 3. B is either 2 or 3. GIP is related to gastric gland. B is 3. So option 3 is the answer. CCK acts on both pancreas and gallbladder and stimulates secretion of pancreatic enzymes and bile juice. GIP inhibits gastric secretion and motility. Next one, cartilaginous joints. Always look for vertebrae. Here it is, vertebrae between adjacent vertebrae. A2. A2 is in 2 and 4. Then B4 is common. C is either 3 or 1. Fibrous joint will be skull. Yeah, so C is 1. So option 4 is the answer. This is the answer. So ball and socket and hinge joints are pretty easy to remember. You might get confused in these 3. Pivot joint is between atlas and axis. Gliding is between carpals. And saddle is between carpal and metacarpal of thumb. Vas deferens receives a duct from seminal vesicle and opens into urethra as ejaculatory duct. This is correct. The cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal, which along with vagina forms birth canal. This is also correct. So both the statements are correct. Option 3. Which of the following statements are correct? Basophils are the most abundant cells of the total WBCs. This is incorrect. Neutrophils are the most abundant. A is incorrect. Strike it out. Next, basophils secrete histamine, serotonin and heparin. This is correct. B is correct. So this is the only one with B. So option 1 is the right answer. This is a table which you should remember. This table is very important, the relative abundance of each and every WBC leukocyte. The ones in green are called granulocytes. They have granules, and these are agranulocytes. No granules in the cytoplasm. Most abundant is neutrophil, and then comes lymphocytes, then monocytes, eosinophil, and the least abundant are basophils. Another question which can be asked is on the type of nucleus which they have. Kidney-shaped nucleus is seen in monocyte, and lymphocytes have round spherical nucleus. So this statement we have covered. Then this also. Next one. Basophils are involved in inflammatory response. Yes. And basophils have kidney shaped. This is wrong. The answer will be monocyte. Basophils are agranulocyte. No, this is wrong. They are granulocytes. Which of the following are not under the control of thyroid hormone? Maintenance of water and electrolyte balance. This is the role of thyroid hormone, so this cannot be the answer. Strike out A. This one A. Regulation of basal metabolic rate. Everybody knows thyroid and BMR are related, so B is the role of thyroid and it cannot be the answer. B is wrong. Then we have C, D and D. So D is common here. We only have to rule out between C and E. C is normal rhythm of sleep-wake cycle. This is melatonin. So C is not the role and therefore this is the answer. C is not seen in option 2, so option 1 has to be the answer. So regarding thyroid hormone, 3 important points which you need to keep in mind. The BMR, which is the metabolism of carbohydrate, proteins and fats. Then support the process of red blood cell formation, which is erythropoiesis. And the last one, maintenance of water and electrolyte balance. Regarding melatonin, the gland which secretes melatonin is pineal gland, and it is important for the circadian rhythm, the rhythm of sleep and state of being awake, and it also controls the body temperature. Which of the following statements are correct? An excessive loss of body fluid from body switches off osmoreceptors. It doesn't switch off, it will switch on the osmoreceptors, which will in turn regulate the thirst and secretion of ADH. So A is wrong. Wherever you see A, strike it out. This is wrong and this is wrong. Next, ADH facilitates water reabsorption to prevent diuresis. It is anti-diuretic hormone. Anti-diuresis, prevent diuresis. This is correct. B is correct. So there is B is only in option number 4 because we have already ruled out option 3. So option 4 is the right answer. In NCERT textbook, they haven't clearly mentioned where osmoreceptors are situated. So functions of kidney are efficiently regulated by hypothalamus, JGA, and to certain extent heart. So in the event of excessive loss of fluid, osmoreceptors which are situated in hypothalamus, they will switch on, and this is the reason hypothalamus will in turn increase thirst. It will also regulate and control the secretion of ADH by posterior pituitary. So how are these two related, ADH and ANF? ADH, as the name suggests, anti-diuretic hormone. This is going to lead to anti-diuresis, conserving water. And there is another role, ADH will cause vasoconstriction. This will in turn increase the glomerular filtration rate, GFR. On the other hand, when the blood volume increases, that time ANF is secreted by the atrium, and this is going to cause vasodilation and bring down the blood pressure to normal. Anti-natriuretic factor is also involved in increasing diuresis, but this is not mentioned in NCERT. Osmoreceptors will be switched off only when there is an increase in blood fluid volume. ADH will also cause increase in blood pressure, and this will in turn increase glomerular blood flow and thereby GFR. ANF can cause vasodilation, dilation of blood vessels, increases the volume of blood vessels, and thereby it brings down the increased blood pressure to normal. This is the last question of 2023. Which of the following statements are correct regarding skeletal muscle? Muscle bundles are held together by collagenous connective tissue layer called fascicle. The bundles are called fascicles, so this statement is wrong. They are held together by collagenous connective tissue layer called fascia. A is incorrect. Wherever you see A, strike it out. This is wrong and this is wrong. Sarcoplasmic reticulum of muscle fiber is a storehouse of calcium ion. Correct. B is correct. So we have B only in option number 4. So this is the answer. So let's go through other statements also. Striated appearance of skeletal muscle fiber is due to distribution of pattern of actin and myosin proteins. Yes, so this forms the A band and this I band. M line is considered as functional unit of contraction. No, it is Z line. So this is incorrect. D is incorrect. So in this question, only statement B and C are correct. So this is important point. Fascia, this covers the muscle fibers and this is very sensitive. So many a times the problem is not in the muscle but it is only in fascia. So this is also another cause of muscular pain. A branch of medical science called physiotherapy is involved in correcting pain related to fascia. Next one, distribution pattern of two important proteins, actin and myosin. And the definition of sarcomere is the portion of myofibril between two successive Z lines is considered as the functional unit of contraction. So Z line holds the actin fibers. So we have two Z lines. So in between two Z lines, we have M line, which holds the myosin fibers, the thick filaments. So this is the end of question paper 2023 on human physiology.